The morning light filtered through the half-closed blinds of the small apartment, casting long stripes of sunlight across the living room floor. Sam stretched lazily, savoring the silence. Saturdays were his sanctuary, a break from his demanding job and the shared chaos of living with Noah, his roommate and best friend. Noah had mentioned heading out early for errands, leaving Sam with the rare pleasure of having the apartment to himself. After a steaming shower, Sam wrapped a towel around his waist, but a burst of rebellious energy made him shrug it off. "It's just me," he thought with a wry smile, and padded into the kitchen stark naked, whistling a tune. The sound of keys jangling startled him. Before he could react, the front door swung open. "Hey, I forgot my..." Noah's voice died mid-sentence. Sam froze. Standing in the doorway, Noah's green eyes widened as they darted downward, then snapped back to Sam's face. The air thickened with the weight of the moment. Sam's heart pounded, his face flushing a deep crimson. Sorry." Noah spun around, his hand flying to cover his own face, but not before Sam caught the flicker of something unreadable in his expression. Shock, embarrassment, maybe even intrigue. "Damn it, Noah!" Sam shouted, scrambling to grab the nearest thing he could find. A kitchen towel, woefully inadequate for the situation. "I didn't know you were," Noah stammered from behind his hand, half turning as though tempted to glance again but wisely choosing not to. "I thought you'd be wearing clothes?" "Well, I wasn't expecting company." Sam shot back, fumbling to cover himself with the towel as he edged toward the bedroom. "A little warning would have been nice." Noah laughed nervously, running a hand through his tousled brown hair. "Yeah, no kidding. I'll, just..." But neither of them moved. The apartment, small as it was, seemed even smaller now. Sam could feel the heat of Noah's presence, could hear his uneven breathing even from across the room. The awkwardness should have passed, but it didn't. Instead, it lingered, stretching the seconds into something taut and electric. Finally, Noah cleared his throat. "Look, let's pretend this never happened," he said, his voice softer now. "No big deal, right?" "Right?" Sam nodded quickly, retreating into his bedroom and shutting the door a little too forcefully. Leaning against it, he exhaled a shaky breath. Alone in the room, his mind replayed the moment in vivid detail. The way Noah's eyes had lingered a fraction too long, the way his own pulse had raced in response. It was just embarrassment, he told himself. That's all. But his reflection in the mirror told another story, one filled with confusion, curiosity, and something dangerously close to excitement. On the other side of the door, Noah stood in the hallway, his hands still gripping the forgotten bag of groceries. He shook his head, muttering under his breath, "What the hell was that?" The incident should have been forgotten. But neither of them could deny that something had shifted, and neither of them was ready to face what it meant. The evening crept in quietly, wrapping the city in hues of soft amber and gray. Sam sat on the couch, legs folded under him, absently scrolling through his phone. The awkward morning still lingered in his mind, a persistent echo that refused to fade. Across the room, Noah stood at the counter, pouring wine into two mismatched glasses. "Truce," Noah said, holding out one of the glasses as he approached. Sam raised an eyebrow but accepted the drink. "I didn't know we were fighting." "Well, it's either this or we spend the rest of the week dodging each other in our own apartment," Noah quipped, sitting down beside him. His smile was easy, but Sam noticed a tension in the way his fingers gripped the stem of his glass. They sipped in silence for a while, the television humming faintly in the background. The quiet was familiar but different tonight, charged with something Sam couldn't quite name. "About this morning," Noah began, his tone careful, "I really didn't mean to invade your space." "Was it bad timing?" Sam chuckled, though it came out more awkward than amused. "Bad timing. Let's leave it at that." But neither left it at that. As the wine flowed, their conversation drifted from mundane topics to something deeper. Noah shared stories about his childhood, his voice softening as he spoke about the insecurities he rarely revealed. Sam listened, drawn in by the vulnerability in his roommate's words. "Sometimes," Noah said, swirling the last sip of wine in his glass, "I feel like I'm stuck. Like I'm just waiting for something, or someone, to shake things up." Sam's heart skipped a beat. He shifted on the couch, suddenly hyper-aware of the space, or lack thereof, between them. "I think everyone feels that way sometimes," he said, though his voice wavered slightly. Noah turned to look at him then, his green eyes unguarded. "Do you?" Sam hesitated, his pulse quickening. "Maybe." The room seemed to shrink. The faint glow of the lamp cast shadows across Noah's face, highlighting the sharp line of his jaw and the subtle curve of his lips. Sam realized, with a mix of dread and longing, how closely he was studying his roommate. Noah noticed too. Their knees brushed, a fleeting touch that felt heavier than it should have. Sam inhaled sharply, but he didn't pull away. Neither did Noah. "It's funny," Noah murmured, his voice low, "how things can change so quickly." Sam nodded, his throat dry. "Yeah. Funny." The air between them crackled with unspoken possibilities. But just as the moment threatened to cross into something undeniable, Sam stood abruptly, nearly knocking over his glass. "I should get some sleep," he said, his words rushed, his eyes avoiding Noah's. "Yeah?" Noah replied, leaning back into the couch with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Good night, Sam." As Sam closed his bedroom door, he leaned against it, his chest heaving. Whatever line had been drawn between them was now blurred, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to redraw it. The following days unraveled with an unsettling rhythm. Sam and Noah skirted around each other, their interactions laced with unspoken tension. Yet, beneath the awkward silences and forced small talk, something magnetic pulled them closer, defying reason. It was late one night when the dam finally broke. Rain pelted the windows, the sound a soothing backdrop to the apartment's dim glow. Sam sat on the edge of the couch, phone in hand, staring at a text from his boyfriend, Alex. "Miss you. Can't wait for next weekend. Love you." Sam typed a reply but didn't hit send. The guilt that had been gnawing at him since the morning Noah walked in was now a constant ache. Alex's warmth and stability had always been a comfort, but lately, it felt like a distant memory, eclipsed by the chaotic energy Noah brought into his life. "Hey," Noah's voice cut through the silence, startling Sam. Sam looked up to see Noah standing in the doorway, his hair damp from the shower and a loose t-shirt clinging to his frame. He held a mug of tea, steam curling lazily into the air. "Couldn't sleep?" Noah asked, stepping into the room. Sam shook his head. "Just thinking." Noah sat beside him, close enough that their knees brushed again. Sam's pulse quickened. He could feel the heat radiating from Noah's body, the scent of soap and something distinctly Noah filling the space between them. "Thinking about Alex?" Noah asked, his voice soft, almost hesitant. Sam's stomach twisted. "Yeah. Among other things." Noah nodded, his gaze fixed on the mug in his hands. "I get it. I mean, I don't really know what it's like to be in a relationship like that, but I get it." The vulnerability in Noah's voice was disarming. Sam's defenses crumbled. "It's complicated," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Noah turned to face him, and suddenly, the space between them seemed insurmountable and non-existent all at once. "You don't have to explain it to me," Noah said, his green eyes locking onto Sam's. "I think I do," Sam replied, though he wasn't sure what he meant. The silence that followed was thick, electric. Noah's hand reached out, hesitant but steady, brushing against Sam's. Sam didn't pull away. "You don't have to do anything you don't want to," Noah said, his voice barely audible. Sam's chest tightened. He knew the weight of the decision before him, the irrevocability of crossing this line. But as Noah leaned closer, his lips hovering inches from Sam's, the world outside faded. Their kiss was slow at first, tentative, like testing the edge of a flame. But it quickly deepened, months of tension spilling out in a fervor that neither could contain. Sam pulled away first, his breath ragged, his mind a storm of guilt and desire. Noah, I know, Noah interrupted, his hand lingering on Sam's cheek. We'll figure it out. As they sat there, tangled in the aftermath of their decision, the rain continued its relentless drumming. Sam knew there was no turning back now. The morning after, Sam woke to sunlight spilling through the curtains, illuminating the scattered fragments of the night before. His clothes lay crumpled on the floor, and the faint scent of Noah's cologne lingered on his skin. Reality crashed down on him with the weight of a boulder. He sat up, running a hand through his tousled hair. Noah was still asleep, his face peaceful, his arm draped across the empty space where Sam had been. For a moment, Sam just stared, torn between the warmth of what they'd shared and the cold dread settling in his chest. By the time Noah stirred, Sam was dressed and pacing the living room. "We need to talk," Sam said as Noah entered, his t-shirt rumpled, his hair a mess. Noah frowned, his expression wary. "About last night?" Sam nodded. "This can't keep happening. I need to figure out what I want, and right now, everything feels wrong." Noah leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "Does it really feel wrong? Or are you just scared?" The question hung in the air, sharp and unyielding. Sam clenched his fists, his voice breaking as he replied, "I don't know." Later that day, Sam sat across from Alex in a quiet cafe, the sounds of clinking cups and murmured conversations a dull backdrop to the storm raging in his mind. Alex's smile was warm, his eyes soft as he reached for Sam's hand. "I've missed you," Alex said, his voice steady, familiar. Sam swallowed hard. He wanted to hold on to that comfort, but he knew it wasn't fair. He pulled his hand back, staring at the table. "Alex, I need to be honest with you." The words spilled out in a halting confession, about the tension with Noah, the moment they shared, and the chaos of his emotions. Alex listened in stunned silence, his face a mask of hurt that Sam couldn't bear to see. "I never wanted to hurt you," Sam finished, his voice cracking. "But I can't lie to you or to myself anymore." Alex's response was quiet but firm. "I appreciate your honesty, Sam. But you've made your choice. I just wish it didn't have to end this way." That evening, Sam returned to the apartment, his heart heavy but his mind clearer. Noah was waiting for him, perched on the armrest of the couch, his expression unreadable. "Well?" Noah asked. "I ended it with Alex," Sam said, sinking into the chair opposite him. "But this, whatever we are, can't just be about what happened last night." Noah nodded, stepping closer. "It isn't. Not for me." Sam met his gaze, searching for something, certainty, hope, a way forward. "Then we figure this out. Together. But slowly." Noah's smile was small but genuine. "Slow works for me." As they sat side by side, the evening settled over them like a tentative promise. The road ahead was uncertain, but for the first time, Sam felt like he was moving in the right direction.